for that exclusive the other day with Ryan Samsel. He's gone now, and I couldn't caught him at a better time because he was on his way out. I still haven't received any word from Alicia Powell. I did ask out for an interview. She doesn't seem to really want to conduct any. She somehow thinks she's supporting and helping January Sixers, but from what I've seen in these conversations, she's doing anything but that. You see, in journalism and reporting, the free press has a code of ethics, and while it's very loophole-ish and sordid, and you can almost get away with practically anything beyond the courts, what she's doing seems to me, I mean, I'm no expert, but it absolutely seems beyond the scope of journalistic code of conduct and ethics, and is certainly in the realm of possibly being illegal. So I don't know what she's up. I do, actually. I shouldn't lie. I do know what she's up to, but I'm not going to say it right now. I just think that people ought to be aware of this stuff, and there are fake reporters out there. I think we've covered a lot of stuff, and I'm not implying anything, certainly, by saying she's one of these examples that I'm about to give you. But there's some examples of something you can look out for when you're dealing with people who are up to no good. And we don't really know what her motive is, but you can certainly try and figure that one out. You don't control, in journalism, you don't try to control the interviewee. You certainly don't borrow or loan or lend or take money out in their names and stuff like that. That is beyond the scope of reason. To control someone, to tell them to keep their mouth shut, that is cold. That is cold, possibly fucking evil. Now, I don't know if they, what's his name, Ryan and her had something worked out, and this is just some sort of trick or something against me. So keep that in the sphere of possibilities, because I've been duped by a lot of January Sixers, and I'm going to tell you another one. But this just gets weird. So that is a surefire instance. However, we've been seeing this Paul Whelan guy in the news. This is the Russian, potentially CIA. He's saying that they've claimed that he was DIA, and this was the hostage, the political hostage that Biden rescued, and they're doing that against other Pauls in here, calling themselves political prisoners. We'll talk about him in a minute here. But I don't know exactly. We have to ask questions, and we have to, because there's cops, there's federal agents, there's all sorts of shit in these systems. And Paul Whelan is certainly CIA or DIA in some respect. Russia says they have some sort of information on him. The media is willing to defend this guy to the coldest and not ask questions, not put him under his scope. Anyways, we call it the Project Mockingbird media. And so one of the things that espionage and spies like to do is this tactic called controlled opposition, where they come in and they control people. And they do it because they think they're doing it in their official scope, and they think they're helping out because, if it's CIA, hey, we have to, there's potentially some sort of information that we're got to keep away from the public, and they can do this all day. And when that stuff doesn't come to light, like, Russia collusion with Donald Trump, when that doesn't come out and actually points the finger at the DNC and Hillary Clinton, his political opponent, and nothing happens, and then the government just keeps attacking Trump, but they don't go after the people that surfaced during the last investigation, you have to really ask questions. So, what they're doing to this guy, Ryan Samsel, seems, he's not the cleanest fella. You can go look up his records and stuff. He's not very clean, but he is certainly being abused by someone here. And so we got to say this is beyond the scope of official duties, no matter what, and ethics, crimes being committed. What's going on? It seems rather espionage-like. However, we got some questions, and we're going to have to get those answers real soon, because something ain't right, and a lot of this stuff ain't right. And we know that the CIA has been doing a lot of shit illegally for a long time, and we know that they shouldn't be operating in the United States of America at all, and yet here they are doing all sorts of stuff. So, one way or the next. And they can always deny, deflect, but anyway, this is real serious stuff, and you can't deny that it was a Fed surrection, and they just won't stop. They will not quit. Someone, somewhere, and the CIA is trying to wipe their hands, and they're certainly following this fucking newscast and trying to cover up everything along the way. So let's give them a heads up, because I think they know what's about to happen, and they are absolutely fucked. Yes, and Trump's going to win, no matter what. No matter how much election interference they orchestrate behind. This has been decades, and let me tell you, it didn't start with Trump. I've been tracking this stuff for a long time. But let's talk about my new roommate, or possibly next roommate, because he's halfway in and halfway out. And this guy showed up, and they moved him into my cell, or I had to move in with his cell. He moves into my cell. He's acting crazy. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to move. He's acting crazy. He's acting nuts. But the thing is, I don't really believe him at all, because the thing is, shocking. Wow, he's a January 6er. Can you believe it? I can't. I can't believe anything anymore. But he won't come forward with his name. He tells me he's a J6er. So I find out his name eventually. And I look him up. His name is Paul. Another Paul. Paul Kovacic. Look him up. Anyways, this guy is dirty. This guy is dirty, filthy, possibly mentally ill or something. He says he's autistic. I did an interview with him yesterday. He's a January 6er who went to D.C., didn't go to the speech, Trump rally speech. He went straight to the Capitol looking for Trump. Wow, what a story, everybody. So he's there at the Capitol. He's not a Trump supporter. He says he's just happened to be in D.C. for no apparent good reason. He was on vacation for 2 days, the 5th and the 6th. What timing, holy shit. Wants to go to the speech, knows he's not at the speech, he's at the Capitol. Says he just walked in and walked out, comes out with one misdemeanor. That's not true if you actually read it. It's a much more interesting story. So he pled guilty, got sentenced to 3 months, fled to Ireland, got homesick, comes back, ends up here eventually. DC, gets moved into my cell. I'm very nice to this guy. I'm trying to get some, something, uniform balance with this guy. But his story, I mean, if you just read up his records and stuff, you're going to find out this guy is all over the place. He's wanted in a bunch of different states. He fits this profile that that I've come up with as far as, these theories on who they pushed into the Capitol to do this, to act like Trump supporters, to frame Trump supporters. This guy is on camera with his camera doing these live streams. You can see this in his filings. He's following me around with a camera, and something's not right here. He's at the Ashley Babbitt shooting now. He ends up at the Ashley Babbitt shooting, and they put him in my cell. Now, he doesn't want to be in my cell, he told me. So this morning, he says, he's willing to move into this cell where Ryan was so he can have his own cell. I've been looking out for him, trying to anyway, knowing all this stuff. One of the crimes, I guess, alleged crimes or something, accusations was he went to Salt Lake City, Utah, to a bank. He said he wanted to use their private restroom. They said, go over to this restaurant nearby. It was closed. He comes back with shit wrapped in tissue, and he delivers it to the clerk. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. And he says, here you go. And in my room, I was just telling him some etiquette. Like, when you pee, and you dribble on the toilet seat, just mop it up with a little bit of tissue and flush it down the drain. I don't know how he bungled this one, but he's wiping the piss off, then he wipes the handle of the fucking the flush handle or button with the piss, and then he flushes it after he pushes the button. So, I mean, like, you know, this is the kind of dirty guy we're dealing with. He doesn't shower. He collects trash. He leaves all this shit all over the place. We can say he's mentally ill or something. He says he's autistic, Asperger's. I don't really believe him. I think he's a bumbling buffoon, and I think he's smarter than he looks, and might even be criminally smart. He might even be working with the feds. So let's go ahead and just chalk this up as a suspicious candidate because he said...
You have 1 minute remaining.
He claimed that he's not a Trump supporter. Okay, that's one of the first questions after he told me it's J6er. That's just strange. And he's only interested, the one thing he's only interested besides looking like an idiot is January 6th stuff. So, you know, I interviewed him, and the only thing that piqued his interest over and over and over again was January 6th and January 6th SIRS. So he's interested in January 6ers and stories, but he's not really asking any questions. And so, you know, what is he doing? And what's really going on? It's a Fedsurrection, remember? Keep that in mind. Now he won't go into his new room. He's just walking around and he's leaving his shit halfway in and halfway out. He's claimed one room, but he doesn't want the room. And now he won't tell anyone what he wants. People are messing with him, and he's leaving his trash. And no one can help him. No one can help him throw trash away. He just has it stacked. He's acting really weird, and no one should trust this guy. No one should trust him.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.